Welcome everyone to my channel. If you've been here before, why don't you pull up a seat, sit down, and if you haven't been here before, well, pull up a seat, sit down, and we're going to talk about the spoiler review for Saint by Ted Dekker. Series is called Paris. This is actually book 2. I didn't know that when I purchased it secondhand. So we call you Saint. The name ignited a light in Carl's mind. Saint. He'd been covertly recruited for black ops and given his life to the most brutal kind of training any man or woman could endure. He was here because he belonged here, to the X group. An assassin, the most effective killer in the world, and yet Carl Struble struggles to retain fleeting memories that betray an even more ominous reality. He's been told part of the truth, but what's the rest? Invasive techniques have stripped him of his identity and made him someone new. For this, he is grateful. But there are some things they can't take from him: the love of a woman, unbroken loyalties to his past, the need for survival. From the deep woods of Hungary to the streets of New York, Saint takes you on a journey of betrayal in a world of government cover-ups, political intrigue, and one man's search for the truth. In the end, that truth will be his undoing. So, none of that gives you any otherworldly information, nor does it sit there and say, hey, look, this is part of a series in any way, shape, or form. It just seems like it's supposed to be a standalone, but it's not. It's part of a 3 called Showdown, Saint, and I forgot what the last one is. But anyways, yes, that's what it is. So your main character, he's called Carl Struble for a lot of it, and it's in first person, but it's not. So it's like third person, but you only get his side of things. You don't really get anybody else's. But when it switches over to, like, say, Englishman or somebody else's, it gives you in-depth into that kind of stuff. So, Carl Struble is actually Johnny Drake. And he can't remember being Johnny Drake or that he was a chaplain for the military. What he can remember is that he's an assassin that has special abilities where he can affect things, such as the ability to move things with his mind. But it's more than that. He can do more than just see things. Move things with his mind. He can actually control the trajectory of a bullet or anything that he wants to, including rocks thousands of miles away. He also sees the truth of things, but it's costly. Costs him an eyesight. In the end, he actually starts going blind because he looks at this guy. He's like, I see the truth of you. You don't exist. You're not real. And the guy, like, explodes, I think, or whatever. He just dies because that's what happens to him, because Englishman Dale Crompton is an evil entity that was brought in through a book that was vital in Showdown, the first novel, between good and evil. So the Englishman, the evil entity, took over Dale Crompton, and of course his main goal is to, if Johnny Drake ever shows that he remembers who he is and that he has powers, to off him. Literally what he was made for to do. And he tries, but he does not succeed in the way that he was supposed to. So Kelly Lorraine was his handler, Johnny's handler. But the two of them fell in love because they did a lot of stuff where they were like wife and husband during tests and things like that. Laszlo Kalman is the one ahead of the X group. He's the one who trains people and executes them if they doesn't believe that they belong. They actually tried executing Johnny Drake, but he survived. And it was like a test to see if he could survive the electrical currents going through his body, which was like the shock chair. Yeah, he survived. Agatha was the one who did all the scientific testing, the one who wiped out the memories of Carl, Johnny, and retrained his brain and all that stuff. You learn that Robert Stanton, the President of the United States, in this fictional world, knows about Showdown, but doesn't really believe in it. But his spiritual advisor, David Abraham, was deep neck in Showdown, Project Showdown, and it actually affected his son, Samuel, who does not grow and he sees visions of the future. Samuel was best friends with Johnny, and Johnny and Samuel came up with a decision to infiltrate the X group to save the president's life, Robert Stanton. Now, Jamie Stanton is Robert's son who's dying. He's important because Johnny makes a connection between Jamie and Robert about fathers, and he realizes in the end, of course, he's out dating his father because his father's not in the picture. You meet Sally Drake, his mother, who's known about his abilities, who's known about him being in the X group and all that stuff. He also met a fake Sally as well. When he was first told that he was being released in the wild to do assassinations, his first assassination was supposed to be as Asim Faraz. He was an Iranian Ministry of Defense in this, all fake, of course. And the reason why they wanted to kill him was because he was trying to hold back initiative to de-arm the Middle East, along with Robert Stanton. And didn't do that either. So they're both targeted for that reason, because it would be better for the world if they de-armed the Middle East, which I have no clue if that's something that could possibly be a good thing or not, and I really don't want to get involved with that. Politics is not my thing, so that just flies over my head in a way that doesn't. Now, Ed Carter, part of the CIA, was the one who ordered the hit against Robert Stanton. So, those are all the important people. Well, I mean, besides Calvin Bromley, Secretary of State, who knew about Project Showdown, but didn't know if there was anything that involved knew about the X group, but didn't know if there was any contracts made to kill Asim Faraz or Robert Stanton within the X group, because they wouldn't do it, because they've used them before, because they have no nationality connections and they just take on contracts for money. My favorite character was Jamie, because he's just an innocent young child that is slowly dying, and he just wants to have fun with his father and his mother before bad things happen to him. My most disliked character was Englishman, because his whole goal is to kill and do evil, because he's something that brought to life, not even real. Yeah. What's it now? How much memory plays into this story? A lot of stuff connects to memories. Like, Johnny's inability to use his powers correctly and in the way that he needs to is because he doesn't remember that he has those abilities and powers or how to use them. And his constant struggle between Carl and Johnny, which memories are right, and how he acts and how he holds himself, is dependent on how he thinks of himself. If he thinks about Carl the assassin, he's really good at being an assassin. If he thinks about himself as Johnny, the person who can move shit with his mind, he can move shit with his mind. So memory is like a big thing. My favorite passage from the story is Johnny has become a man of faith, but he was still unsure about his role. For now, he was a brooding hero trying to stay alive long enough to come to terms with who he was. Because of the conflict within his memory, he didn't know who the hell he was or what he could become. So he was just trying to stay alive while saving people who didn't deserve to die. My favorite quote is, "Go to paradise. It'll all become clear in paradise. Project Showdown still lives." So that was Samuel telling that to Johnny, like, "Hey Johnny, I know who you are. I know where you live. I know your mother. I know a lot of stuff. You need to just go to paradise in the city. You need to go there. It's where everything happened. It's where everything will become clear. It's where people know you. It's where you'll be able to see that your interactions with people is there. Project Showdown still lives." Because Johnny's not the only one that was affected by it. There was 3 other kids that were affected by it because they wrote their names down in the book too to give them their own powers and abilities. I mean, Johnny's is to see the truth and things, which is why he goes, "You're not real. I'm real." It destroys the evil entity that is the Englishman. What I thought about the end of the book, it was okay. I mean, he walks into the desert with the love of his life to try and live while on the run. The end. What book did it remind me of? Nothing that I can think of. I don't think I've read something that dealt with... Well, no, wait. False Memory does that. Because there's a lot of conflicts in there because they're clones in False Memory. And so they have conflicting memories about certain things. And like Miranda gets memories of things that happened to her clone and not actually to her. So that way they could, pretend to be the person that they're supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to love you, but that Miranda's dead, so I don't have no connection or feeling to you. We're supposed to be a team, but I don't have this connection or feeling to you. And she's got this code in her that makes her come somebody else. So it's just, that deals with a lot of memories as well. This book, as you know, is part of a series called Paradise, and there are actually only 3 books in the series. I rated this a 3 because, well, it was interesting, and I liked the mystery side of it and how it had supernatural in it. But I didn't like a lot of the political stuff in it, nor the way they toyed with Carl/Johnny's memories and feelings. There's that. I will also not be keeping this, so you will see it at the end of the year unhauled. And so if you think this is a like, comment, or a lovely subscription, drop down below. I will see you next illusion.